Senator Rubio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I want to focus the questioning today not on tactics, because this is not a military hearing. I just want to kind of go through some of the goals. I think there will be a debate about tactics and probably is ongoing. So let me begin by kind of stating the obvious based on your testimony. But our primary objective in this endeavor was to prevent an imminent massacre, particularly in Benghazi, correct?
Correct.
Had we not acted, would there have been a massacre there?
I think, obviously, nothing is certain in life, but Gaddafi had said that was his intention, was to show no pity to his people.
And going forward, I think our goal remains to prevent genocide or massacres to occur in Libya, correct?
Correct.
And if Gaddafi survives and holds on, what are the chances that we should take him at his own word, that he'll actually have no mercy and no pity, I think was the quote, based on his history?
Again, Senator, that's why we have made clear that our political objective here is to make sure that Gaddafi goes.
So would you agree with the statement that as long as Gaddafi is in control, genocide and massacres is not just a possibility, it's a real probability, at least against his enemies? And I
would certainly say it's a very substantial risk, yes.
And that's how you reach the conclusion that the ultimate goal, we can debate tactics, but the ultimate goal is for Gaddafi to be gone from Libya. Okay. Now, talk about Gaddafi for a moment. Some of us, it's important to have this refresher history on him. He has a long history of sponsoring terrorism, right? In a pretty brazen way.
No question about it.
In fact, there's reports he's been implicated in things like assassination attempts against and plots against other heads of state.
Again, without commenting on some of the specifics, that he has certainly been implicated in
a lot of things.
A lot of activity.
Has it also been reported that he had a weapons program, a nuclear weapons program that he was on the verge of acquiring at some stage? Less than a decade ago?
There's, again, no question that he had an active nuclear weapons program. I think one of the great successes of the past decade was the ending of that program, but he was certainly pursuing a nuclear weapons program.
And then as far as this operation is concerned, United States forces in conjunction with an international coalition has attacked this guy that we've just described, correct? And so if he survives, if he survives this international action against him, we should expect him to feel emboldened by the fact that he was able to survive it.
Well, we haven't, I mean, the mission has not been to attack him. The mission has been to...
His forces.
To attack those forces which were threatening.
But I'm sure he's taken it personally.
I don't suspect he thought it was a friendly act.
And if he survives this, not only will he be emboldened, but is it fair to say he's probably going to be a little bit upset? Angry, maybe?
I think it's hard to know whether he'd be emboldened or not. I think on the one hand, he knows that we have taken action against him. But I think whether he's emboldened or not, that's part of the reason. We think the threat is sufficient that we believe it would be important that he go.
But the bottom line is, at the end of all this engagement, if he survives, we are going to have on our hands a potentially emboldened, definitely angry dictator with a history of sponsoring terrorism and pursuing nuclear weapons on our hands, correct?
Well, I wouldn't, on the nuclear weapons thing, I would not, I couldn't make that judgment as to whether he would feel that he was free to do that again. But I do think that we have said that we think that we cannot envision a long-term stable solution for Libya that involves...
I guess that's where I'm trying to arrive at with the question. If he's able to survive and hold on to power, what the world's going to have on their hands here is a pretty angry, I believe, emboldened guy with a pretty bad track record, and therefore that's why it's important that he not hold on and survive.
Right. We share that view, Senator.
All right. My last question has to do with this debate about congressional authority. And my recollection that the Senate, and you may not want to comment, or maybe you know this or don't, you should, that I believe the Senate passed a resolution regarding a no-fly zone
on March 1st.
Yes. And the Department obviously was aware of that. Yes. Took that into consideration. When the decision was made to join this international coalition, how far were we from this massacre, potential massacre, likely massacre in Benghazi? Hours, I would imagine.
Hours. I think the judgment we had was hours, not days.
So suffice it to say that some folks probably came to the conclusion that given we're not exactly, I mean, I've only been here a few months, but they don't exactly set speed records here in Congress for dealing with things. I would imagine that went into consideration when the decision was made to act.
I think, Senator, as you know, the President brought in the leadership of both bodies. He spoke with the Chairman, the Ranking Member here, and others, key committees, because he recognized that the time was of the essence and he was going to need to act quickly, but he did want to reach out to the membership.
The bottom line is that if you had pursued some sort of congressional authorization for the specific move that you made, you wouldn't have had time to act to prevent, or to be a part of this prevention of what could have happened in Benghazi.
I certainly think that the exigency of time was an important factor for us.
My last question, I think I'm asking you just to echo what Secretary Clinton's already said. I know the position is that you didn't require congressional authorization, but that you would welcome congressional authorization. Is that still, I would imagine that's still
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.